The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Trader's Edge with Steve Rhodes. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. The Trader's Edge. Now, Steve Rhodes.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to the November 8th, the terrific Tuesday edition of today's Trader's Edge Show. I'm your host, Stevie Perseverance Rhodes, who absolutely knows that each of us should always be pioneers of our future versus prisoners of our past. Hope everyone out there is having a great day. And let's make sure we have an extraordinary one. The easiest way to do that is to always remember that life is happening for us, not to us. That's right. When you and I make that one little 2x4 shift, well, it means we can find the gift in every set of circumstance that life is going to toss at us. Now, today, you and I, we're going to go check on the circumstance of these markets. We'll go figure out what those bulls and bears, what those buyers and sellers are communicating to you and I at just past 11 o'clock in the morning. I do want you to know I'm absolutely grateful for your presence here, but more important than that, and that's this. During this next 53 minutes, I'm here to service you. So feel free to give us a call at 877-927-6648. Now, if you can't call in, we've got you covered there, too. You can always send me an email. You send that to steve@tfnn.com. And inside the subject heading, please put radio show question. Of course, if you're inside our Tiger's Den, well, any and every ping will do. So let's go ahead and get this show started on terrific Tuesday. Of course, this is Tiger Financial News Network. I'm Steve Rhodes. Welcome to the show. You got the Dow, all the U.S. indices, with the exception of the Wilshire 5000. So not sure what's going on there. Maybe I've got it's not really it is moving, so it's active. But otherwise, other U.S. indices are trading the upside. Dow's up 372, a little over 1%. 0.8 for the S&P, 32 points. 1% for the Nasdaq, 113. Russell's up 0.7 or 12 points. 2.6 for the semis, 1% for the trannies. Gold's up 2%, $36. Silver's up 3%, 65 cents. Light sweet crude back 50 pennies. Trade out at 91.28. Natural gas off 68 cents. $6.26 is the print there. And the 30-year Treasury up 1 full point, 119.17. Now leading the charge to the upside, dollar-wise, it's Solar Edge Technologies. Sedge, albeit Marl, is up $20. Solar Edge is up 36. That's 17% and 7%, respectively. Amgen's up $17. That's 6%. Biorad Labs is up 4%, $17. Regeneron up 2% or 13 buckaroonies. To the downside, it's a Shockwave. It's Shockwave Medical up $28, 10%. MicroStrategy, $20, 7%. Take-Two Interactive, 13.5%, nearly $15. Lumentum Holdings off $10, 14%. So we've got some movers and we've got some shakers. Let's begin by taking a look at let's go take a look at the ES Mini. We'll switch over. Actually, let's do this. Now let's go switch over. Let's do one by one. We'll switch over to our white background screens. We'll have multiple panels, so we're going to get different meanings for the different time frame charts, potentially out here. And this, we're just taking a look at the daily time frame. So on a daily basis, with regard to the ES Mini, you can see prices trading up into a level of potential resistance, and that is the profile level established by my white background chart. And that's at 38.46. We're at 38.47. If price can clear that, if I were to switch over to my black background charts, well, what we'd have out there is a profile at 38.97. That most likely is where price is headed to, the 38.97 level. Sometimes we get different profiles. We use them both. The key area out here, though, is going to be 39.24.25. That is the TD9 count top that occurred on the bar following bar number 9 out here. That was on the trading day of October the 28th. So price closes above that. Then that's going to set up an A to B equals CD to the upside. Also set up a price target of 41.75. If we look at the 5-hour time frame chart, the bar that we are currently in ends at 2 p.m. This will be the bar following bar number 9. The 5-hour time frame chart will generate a TD9 count top. Will it take hold? I don't know. Did the TD9 count top that formed out here in the 4-hour chart take hold? Well, it sort of did, and it did it for about 12 to 16 hours. But that was, or is being negated as actually it's being negated right now. potentially being negated. So what that means is at 2 o'clock this afternoon, prices trading above or closes above 38.27.75. That pattern will get negated, and its price target for that time frame, that's the 4-hour chart, would be 39.07. Still, though, you want to keep an eye because we're up towards resistance areas inside the daily time frame. On a 5-hour time frame at 2 p.m., you will get a completed TD9 count. So whatever that high is, I don't know what it will be. If price does close above that high, going into the market close, well, then that's going to be that will negate that signal and tell us that price should continue to move higher. On a 2-hour time frame chart, no topping signal. On a 60-minute chart, you will or should get a confirmed TD9 count top at 1 p.m., completed pattern at 2 p.m. 30-minute chart, no topping pattern present. Does have an RMI, Rhodes Momentum Indicator signal, but that needs a bearish reversal candle. Until that forms, it's just a warning sign out there. And the other intraday charts, nothing else. That's the 15 and the 10-minute, not much. So how do we summarize this? Well, number one, on a daily basis, prices trading into one area of resistance. That's at the top of that daily profile. And that number, again, 38.46. If price closes above that level, then that would suggest a move up towards the 38.97 area. TD9 count, in order for that to happen, the likelihood is that the 5-hour time frame TD9 count top will have to fail. So watch the close today inside the ES Mini. If it closes above the high, whatever the high is that forms between now and 2 p.m., then that will negate that signal and say, okay, we're headed, or the ES Mini should head higher out there. Let's take a look at the NQ. The NQ a bit weaker out here than the ES Mini. So let's take a look at what type of signals, what type of information it is generating for us. By the way, the time frames, the 4 primary time frames that we track, the daily, the weekly, the 240, the 60-minute, from a TAS market profile standpoint, they're all in bullish configuration, meaning more instruments for those specific time frames are traded above the top of their profile versus below the bottom of their profile. In the case of the NQ, and this is an interesting thing out here, and I don't usually get this, but I'm getting it now, and that is that there's a new profile that appears to have formed out here yesterday. Now, this is on my white background charts. Again, we use that information as well. I don't have that same profile on the black background charts. Nonetheless, this is a bearish structured profile, and a bullish message would be generated with a close today above 11,131. That's the number you want to put on a pad of paper. Now, what would that mean if you get a close above that? Well, what I would say that would mean is price is going to try to run back towards its highs. Those highs being the October 25th swing point, and that would be between the range of 11,430 up to the 11,734 level. The 5-hour time frame chart for the NQ will do the same as the ES Mini. Complete a TD9 count top. So that's the cool thing. That's at 2 p.m. That says whatever that high is, mark that. If we come to the close and price is above it, that will negate that signal. That will then offer the suggestion of a further move higher. Now, the next area of resistance on a move higher for the NQ would be at the 11,223 area. That's coming from the black background profile level. And if price can close above that, again, that's 11,223, that would also signal higher prices. On a 4-hour time frame chart, just like the ES Mini, the NQ is attempting to negate its TD9 count top. It will accomplish that task with a close at 2 p.m. today above 11,063.50. No signal on the 2-hour time frame. TD9 count that is going to form at noon and complete at 1 for the 60-minute. No other signals out here of a top or anything inside the NQ. Steve Rhodes with TFNN. We get back from this break. Nick wants to take a look at Apple and the SMHs, so that's what we'll do.
Currencies, commodities, and bond markets are as important as ever right now with how they're driving the volatility in equity markets across the globe, which is why it's a great time to try out Teddy Kegstad's Tiger Forex Report. Teddy Kegstad breaks down the Forex markets every Monday using his 30-plus years of experience as a trading veteran of futures, Forex, stocks, and options. Teddy releases his weekly Tiger Forex Report every Monday morning with coverage of all the major currency pairs, including the dollar index, the euro dollar, pound dollar, dollar Swiss, dollar yen, as well as many more, and he also has weekly coverage of the crude oil market and the 30-year T-bonds, as they both influence Forex markets tremendously. When you sign up for the Tiger Forex Report, you also gain instant access to Teddy's 60-minute webinar archive he just hosted, Forex Strategies and Fundamentals, What is Behind the Tiger Forex Report. For all the details and to start your 30-day Tiger Forex Report subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Welcome back, folks. So we're going to go take a look at the SMHs. I've got those white background screens up on charts up on our screen right now. And what you'll see here, daily, weekly, monthly, you've got nice solid bottom patterns out there. In the daily time frame, you've got that nice Rhodes Momentum Indicator bottom that took place on October 13th. On the weekly chart, you've got a confirmed and completed TD9 count. Prices above the top of its bullish structured weekly profile. That suggests that price should make a run for the 211.73 area. The monthly time frame will go ahead and complete its TD9 count pattern. It will do that at the end of this month here, and that suggests a run up to the 244.57 level. We'll take things one step at a time. The point is, on the daily, the weekly, and monthly time frame for the semiconductor index, you've got nice bottoms. And today, price is trading above a swing point. We'll go over to the black background charts here momentarily. We'll draw that A to B equals CD pattern for you. The price is trading above that November 2nd level. That's what I would use for the B point of an A to B equals CD to the upside. So let's go check those black background charts. We'll take a look at volume. Today's volume so far is about 2.1 million shares. We've been trading for less than 2 hours. If we just simply multiply that times 2, they give us a linear volume analysis. That would take us up to about 6 million shares. Well, what it actually needs to do today to cross that B point with volume and confirm an A to B equals CD pattern would need to be volume of more than 5.9 million shares. So it looks like it's going to be pretty close. So you have to come back and take a look at this, Nick, at the end of the day. But if it is more than 5.9 million shares, the 1-to-1 A to B equals CD pattern would take it to 208.48. Now, the retracement was 52%. That would suggest more than a 1-to-1 move. The move along the C to D leg is on the strong side. That means the left side stronger than the A to B move. That also suggests more than a 1-to-1 move. So right now, Stevie would call this an A to B equals CD, especially if you get that volume in there. That should take price up towards that 216 level. Well, we've got 211.73. That has resistance at the top of the weekly profile. So I'd say it's going to be between the 208 and 216 area, and 211.73 looks like a pretty good pit stop out there. So those are the battlegrounds for the SMHs out there. Not really sure. I think you wanted support. Well, support's going to really be the top of that daily profile. That's a bearish structured profile. That price closed above yesterday. This would be day number 2. So on a move lower, your actual support level, even though at first I would give you 192.78, Nick, that's the top of the bearish structured daily profile. The reality is a counter trend move to the downside would find support or should find support at 190.14. That's the level that's really your support area on a daily time frame. You also wanted to take a look at Apple. So let's go ahead and get Apple up on these black background charts out here. I'll go ahead and populate the white background chart, see if there's any signals out there. But at this stage here, what Apple has done, that it actually do the test. Let's see here. So the low of the swing point that I'm looking at is October 13th. And that low is 134.37. A couple days ago, you got down to 134.38. Missed it by that much. Who used to say that? Don Adams, right? Don Adams from Get Smart. In any event out here, so price did, we don't really have a test of that swing point. In fact, in the case of Apple, Nick, price is still trading with inside that swing point. That ranges from a low of 134.37 up to a high of 143.59. So that's the first thing. Now, that low is an important low, or that candle is an important candle, and that I'm referring to as October 13th. What you can't see here, but what I will share with you is that was a Rhodes momentum indicator bottom pattern. Now, what Apple also did, it completed a sell the D point pattern, or potentially a sell the D point pattern. The problem with that is that for that A to B equals CD, I'd have to use both the candle of October 18th is both the B point and the C point. The high would be the B point, the low of that candle would be the C point. At this stage here, it doesn't really matter. Price is below the bottom of its daily profile, Apple that is. It's trading into that swing point out here. That's the bullish swing point. So right now we just may have, Nick, a consolidation pattern with the bottom pretty well being established. And the top, well, yeah, actually I'd say that's been established too. And it's up in the range of 157.50. Now, we can see here on a weekly basis, prices held the bottom of the weekly profile. So as long as price closes above 137.36 on a weekly basis, support will have held. And on monthly time frame, that close needs to be above 140.48. So whereas the SMHs, the semiconductors, bullish no matter how we look at them, solid bottoms across the board, we really don't have those same set of conditions inside of Apple out there. So Nick, I hope that helps you out with regard to those two instruments. Thanks so much for taking the time to write in. We've got another question that has popped up here. This one's coming from Tim M. And Tim wants to take a look at, I have a long position in Vulcan Materials. Vulcan Materials is VMC. So let's go ahead and pull those charts up. Let's see what this is doing, VMC. We get that going on the white background charts. And here, the question is, could you please take a look at support and resistance levels on the daily and the weekly time frame? Absolutely. So on the weekly time frame, your resistance level is 175.53. And Tim, that happens to be the top of the weekly profile. The daily time frame, prices trade above all profile levels. So one area of support would be the top. That's way down at 166. You're trading at 173.26. Not shown on this screen is the oscillator and change line. On a daily basis, that would be a level of support. Now, this number will change as price moves higher or lower, but you can use it as a guideline. And right now, that's printed at about 165.57 out there. So you wanted support and resistance. Those are the numbers. And price is trying to get inside a move up towards the top of that profile. There's a swing point. So you got resistance at 175.53. If price can get into 175.07 and do with more than 2.6 million shares out there, that would suggest that price should then go test at least that swing high. That'd be 179.75 out there. Let's switch over to the white background charts because there is a TD9 count top that is present. And so this will be helpful to you, or should be helpful to you. You are long the position. So you can see that yesterday completed the TD9 count pattern. The high of that pattern appears to be, well, it's going to be easier for me to just look over on the other charts. 172.99, 173 is yesterday. So that high, write this down here, Tim, 173.01. Price is trading at 173.30. If price closes today above 173.01, this will not even have had a hiccup, this being the TD9 count top. You can see the nice Rhodes momentum indicator bottom down there for Vulcan Materials back on October 13th. So as we take a look at this, if price is able to close above yesterday's high, that pattern gets negated. We could call this actually a confirmed A to B equals CD to the upside. We'll go back and take a look at that. But right now what we would say here, Tim, is that price would then or should go target 179.05. Again, you've got resistance at 175.53, so that's your battleground. If price can clear that, then 179.05, the TD9 count breakdown level, for the daily time frame. Let's switch back, though, and take a look at the A to B equals CD pattern out here inside of Vulcan. Give me a moment here to get back to that. No bearish reversal candles. So this is for taking a look at what's the price projection if this TD9 count top pattern gets negated today. So our A point out here for Vulcan, yeah, that'll work. The A point is going to be the low of October 13th. The B point that I'm going to use is the high of October 28th, and the C point is going to be the low from November 11th. That B point had volume of 729. 729,000, 1.5 million is what it was passed by. 1-to-1 takes you up to 179.54. Remember the top of that TD9 count breakdown there in the daily time frame, Tim? That was at 179.05. So here's the summary. You close above 175.53. This thing's headed to 179. Tim, thanks much for taking the time to write in. Hope that helps you out. And have a terrific Tuesday. Steve Rhodes with TFNN. We'll be back in just a few.
If you want to take advantage of this sector, now is the time to subscribe to my Gold Report. The Gold Report is a comprehensive look at the metals sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the Gold Report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, GDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the Gold Report, sign up now by visiting TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. For free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. So I got a 10-minute delay here on the U.S. dollar index. That's the charts that are up on the screen right now. You've got 4 different time frames. Here, what I'm using is my synthetic version of the U.S. dollar index chart. That way I can grab weekly, monthly, quarterly data out here. And so this is helpful. So right now you've got price at, and again, I've got a 10-minute delay. So right now I've got price trading at 109.41. The key level to be watching for is going to be that swing point from October 27th. That swing point low is at the 109.36. If price closed below 109.36, that could trigger an A to B equals CD to the downside. That A to B equals CD to the downside, the first price projection would take us to 107.65. But now, when you take a look at the C point here, price really had a nice move to the downside off that. That's a strong move. We're well inside to the left side of that C to D leg. So this would suggest that this would do more than a 1-to-1 A to B equals CD. The next level be below the 1-to-1 is at 106.20 out there. But first, you got to close below that swing point from October 27th. Now, we take a look at the weekly time frame chart out here. You'll see a number of different profile levels, which price is below the bottom of the weekly profile out there. But there is a trend line. And that trend line could have or should have support at around 108.57 or thereabouts. So that's another area of potential support. So longer term, just to make sure, somebody might out there think that the dollar is toast. Well, I can share with you that the monthly time frame says, I don't know what the heck those folks are talking about, because there's a new monthly profile that has formed below price. Now, that is a bullish message for the U.S. dollar index. So short term, we may have a correction. Maybe we get a Gartley buy pattern. Longer term, the U.S. dollar index should continue to move higher. At least that's the message coming from the monthly time frame chart out there. And on a quarterly basis, you've got a very powerful A to B equals CD pattern to the upside. Prices above profile levels there, so it's above profiles on the monthly as well. It's just the daily and weekly at this moment in time that are giving the U.S. dollar index a bit of trouble out there. So that's what's going on with regard to the U.S. dollar index. Let's go take a look at Goldilocks. We haven't done that. So let's take a look at, so the first thing that we'll look at here is gold in all of the major currencies. And what we can see here, so you've got the dollar, that's the left-hand side. Next to that is gold priced in euros. That's at $16.99. If you wanted an ounce of gold, forget about the premium. That's what you'd be paying for $17.17 in U.S. dollars. And in yen, you're up at the 249,745 yen for 1 ounce of gold out there. Now, if you take a look at the chart of gold in yen, no way to say that this is any kind of a bear market out here. Price is getting towards its all-time high, and that's at about 252,000 yen per an ounce of gold. But here's the point really to be made, is that this rally that we see today should be sustained out there. Doesn't mean we can't see a pullback, but you do have price moving higher in all of the major currencies. So that's element number one. Element number two, let's go take a look at the December contract out here. When we take a look at the daily time frame, we can see that price is now above the top of its daily profile. I'll assume that price is going to close today above 1682. You close above 1682, that says that, okay, we should continue to move higher. Move higher to where? Well, I would be looking at the high from October 4th, and that's at the 1738 area. Let's go to gold chart set number 3. And that's going to take us to this multi-time frame chart. So very much like the U.S. dollar index, I'm using my synthetic version of the contract. That way we can take a look at profile levels for the weekly, the monthly, and the quarterly time frame. Well, turns out that in order for gold to make its way back to that prior swing point that we were just talking about, and that would be October 4th, what gold is going to need to do is close above the top of its weekly profile, something that it has not been able to do since February 7th. 2022 out there. That's the last time gold was able to take out the high, the top of a weekly profile. The weekly profile top is at 1720.60. So that's an area of resistance that you'll want to watch. We'll most certainly want to go take a look at in fact, let me get those fired up here while we're taking a look at this set of charts. And we'll take a look at the intraday charts, because when you get up towards resistance, you want to see if there's any kind of intraday signals. Now, that's the weekly time frame. On a monthly time frame, there's a new profile that is also forming. That level of resistance, which says that if pricing closed above 1720.60, that would bring this into play. This would be 1781.90. That is the top of its bearish structured monthly profile. And on a quarterly basis, resistance here would be the top of its profile as well, and that's at 1765. So summarize this for me, Stevie, before we go take a look at those intraday charts here. You've got gold trading up into resistance. Its key battle is going to be 1720.60. If price can clear that, then we should see a move up to 1741 to 1781. That's how we interpret those black background charts. Let's go see if there's any signals here that you and I need to be aware of on the intraday time periods for gold, and that'll take us to those white background charts. Well, if you take a look at all these time frames, so here on a daily basis, price is taking on TD9 count breakdown resistance. So a close above 1707.40 would be a positive, but remember, you still got that 1720 level. from the weekly profile. But if you do close above that, then 1742 would likely be the next stop. 1742.90 is the next TD9 count breakdown level for the gold contract. Let's pull this daily time frame back. You know what? I probably would have to. No, I can do that. I've got two. Oh, so here's the third level out there. So just looking for these TD9 count breakdown areas. We won't go there right now. I'll just stay with the 1742.90 area. We look at a 5-hour time frame chart. All you have is a nice confirmed A to B equals C to the upside with a big wide-ranging bar. And it is a wide-ranging bar taking out the B point out there. Same pattern on the 240, no other topping signal there. Same pattern on the 120, no topping signal on the 60 or the 30 or the 15 or the 10. So we're not seeing any signals here of why the rally should stop other than knowing that not much higher than where we're at. That's at 1720.60. Gold has a battle, and that is where the sellers lurk, and that's the top of the weekly profile. Let's take a look at high-ho silver out there. Let's get that going. That is actually stronger than Goldilocks. So we'll get the white background charts populated. Let me see if I can pull up for you. I know that I can. It's just a matter now of just switching panels. And let's go take a look at what silver is doing with those black multi-time frame charts. Then we'll come back to the white background charts if we need to. So on a daily time frame, what do we know? Well, the one thing that we know is silver is taking out its prior swing point from the trading day of October 4th. That high is 21.31. Now, I don't know that silver will close above it. It's a pretty good indication so far. Looks like it will. Now, that would set up the next B point of the A to B equals CD pattern. So let's go ahead and draw that in there. Our A point is going to be the low. That's easy to find, September 1st. Whoops, I didn't put it in the right spot. That means we couldn't get an A to B equals CD properly. So we'll just redo that. You got that September 1st low. The high, that B point is what we just talked about, October 4th. The C point was a retracement down to the low on October 14th. Well, 1-to-1 for silver will take us up to 21.92. If price can close above 21.92, we're looking at 22.98. Pretty good indication that that is a likely outcome, although it's only Tuesday. So we take a look at the weekly charts. The mere fact that price is trading above the top of weekly profile, something that it has not done since November of 2021 out there. Yeah, nearly. Well, that was November 8th. Today is November 8th. So it's been a full year. So, I take that back. I got to take that back. Sorry. Actually, I see that silver closed above the top of a weekly profile back here on February 28th, 2022. Again, it's early in the week. I don't know where silver will close, but if it does close about 20.97, that would be a signal of a further move higher out there. That further move higher would likely take us into the top of the weekly, monthly profile where price is being consolidated. The top of that profile is 22.59. Steve Rhodes with TFNN. Would love to hear from you at 877-927-6648 or just send me an email, steve@tfnn.com. Be right back.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
The technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
Welcome back, folks. You got the Dow trading up 500 points. The S&P's up 50. The Nasdaq's up 204. The Russell is up 21. We got a couple questions that have come in. Let's go to those. The first one is inside the Tigers Den. It's from Dennis. He says, "Hey, Steve, what's your high for Microsoft the next month? Thanks." Well, let's go take a look at those white background charts, see if we can get any kind of a feel for what Microsoft is doing here. So you got Microsoft has got a nice TD9 count bottom. That was confirmed yesterday. The pattern will complete today. Price is trading up into its resistance level. The first resistance level is the bottom of its daily profile, Dennis, and that is at the level of 232.16. So you know that a battle is brewing right there. If price can win that battle, the bulls can take over those bears, the buyers can take over those sellers, then the next move would be to 236.35. Now, 236.35 is the center of its slightly bullish structured profile. That's where a counter trend move would likely run out of steam. But what we can also see, because of that TD9 count bottom that confirmed yesterday, that generates a TD9 count breakdown resistance area. And that's at 238.30. So I would say if price can close above 232.16, and you're asking me about the month, I'm just going to tell you about the daily battles right now, then you should see a move to the 236 to 238 level. If price can close above 238.30, then the next battle is going to be at 242.65. So Microsoft needs a lot of bullets out there to be able to get through all of those battles, but it could do that. And then if it does, and it closes above 242, then you're looking at a move to the 260 area, 260.40 to be exact. On a weekly time frame, we don't have any kind of a signal out here other than price is trying to regain its weekly profile. Last week was week one below that being 228.79. So if price can regain that, then that would suggest that last week's move was a false breakdown. Whereas if price closed below 228.79 at week's end, it was not a false breakdown. However, when we look at the monthly time frame chart, this month, the month of November, is going to complete a TD9 count bottom near TD9 count breakout support, 211.94. So you get a nice bottom on the daily. You most certainly have a nice bottom pattern on the monthly time frame. And if you could get a bullish reversal candle, I don't know if this is going to, let me see here. Let me pull this up a little bit. Yeah, so I mean, I guess it could. There's certainly this A to B equals CD. I'll draw this in here for you, the A to B point. So here's A to B. This would be 1, and we're just going to move that A to B over to the C point out here of the A to B set A to B equals CD. I'll eventually be able to speak out there, folks. That just going to take just a few years. And here is that the C to D. So if you do get a bullish reversal candle this week, that then would confirm a buy the D point pattern. So first up, though, Dennis, is really going to be those battleground levels. And to tell you what is this going to do next month, or as we move into next month out there, you have to. The chart's going to Microsoft is going to have to tell you what its intent is. All that I can do is share with you where those battleground areas are, and that way you'll understand what price is doing, what it's doing at that level. Now, on a 30-minute time frame, what the Microsoft chart has done is it completed a TD9 count top. It did it on bar number 8. It did it right at the TD9 count breakdown resistance level at about 231.30. If price is able to close above 231.30, I mean, really, technically, it's 230.73, but we're going to make it 231.30. That would then suggest that a further rally. So watch, really, the 231.30 level on a half-hour basis. If price is able to close above that, then Microsoft today should rally further. If it doesn't, the first pullback should be at about 228.56. The next ones would be 226, 224, 222 out there. Those would be the areas to be watching. So, Dennis, I hope that helps you out with regard to Microsoft, what it is going to do out there. And although it's not a clear picture, it is a clear picture with regard to where those battles should unfold. Leonardo DiCaprio writes in, and he says, hey, Steve, can you look at some price objectives for VERU? VERU is the ticker symbol. So absolutely. So first, let's go see what buyers and sellers are communicating to you and I, Leonardo. And we'll get these white background charts here populated. I'm going to get something going here quicker. So VERU right now, you say, can you look at VERU and GEO? Absolutely. So first, on a daily time frame, what do we have out here? The one thing that we have is yesterday was a big, wide-ranging bar with gigantic volume. I have no idea what VERU did here. The volume on that is as big as it's been in a long time. That was 55 million shares to the upside. And that was a move above the top of its daily profile. So where VERU should target, I would have to say, is it's got potential resistance at 1651. That was an old TD9 count breakdown area, but price was able to cruise through that. The real one that it could be gunning for is up here at 2367. That's a daily time frame chart. No topping signal whatsoever, so no reason for it to not be gunning for that area. However, we get back to the weekly time frame. No bottoming pattern out here that I see. Doesn't matter because price is trading above its oscillator and change line, which is green. That's a bullish signal, and above the center of its bullish structured profile. So what you're looking for here, Leonardo, is a close above 1393 this week. If you get that, then that signal is that price should move up to 1924. The monthly time frame chart shows that price is just simply pulled back. It's been testing and rejecting its green oscillator and change line. That is a bullish signal out there. That suggests a run for 1750. So your question was, what are the price objectives? That's pretty easy. The first one is 1750. The second one is 1924. And the third one is going to be 2367. So I hope that helps answer your question on that. You also want to look at the same set of questions for ticker symbol GEO. So let's go ahead and pull up a GEO. And GEO is the GEO group out there. Now, if I'm not mistaken, the GEO group runs prisons. And I used to play golf with the president. He retired last year out there. I still play golf with one of the guys that works at that company. But that's not what you were asking about. You were asking about what are some price targets out there. Well, turns out that GEO right now on a daily basis, no topping signal or anything. That says that it wants to move higher. We can draw in an A to B equals CD pattern, probably several of them. And that's what we'll do. We'll switch back to those black background charts. But first, before we do that, GEO is trading above the top of its weekly profile. That, too, is a bullish signal. So where the next battle likely is, which I think is one of the things you were looking for because you're looking for price objectives, but really in this case, we need to identify that next battle. And that gets us to the monthly time frame chart. And that next battle is at 979. Price needs to close above 979. If it does, that'll also take out a shooting star candle. It will that will formed out here the week or the month, I should say, the month of November 2021, and that'll set up a small A to B equals CD pattern to the upside. Let's go switch over to those black background charts. Let's go draw in an A to B equals CD pattern for the weekly time frame. So we'll do that here momentarily. Again, ticker symbol here is GEO. Well, now that I pull this back, well, here's the A to B equals CD pattern. The A point out here is going to be at the low from the week that began March the 14th. I will use the B point, which is the week that began August 29, 2022. Now, the volume there was 14 million shares. So far, just a day and a half of trading, you're at about 5 million shares. So can easily take out 14 million shares out there. And your C point's going to be the low of September 26. Your price objective here, especially if you get it confirmed weekly, A to B, we'll see the upside, is going to be 11.05. Don't forget, you've got resistance at $9.79, and $11 is your monthly TD 9-count breakdown resistance area. We'll be right back.
If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them, using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Everything in the universe is governed by the Fibonacci sequence. This mathematical principle is responsible for everything from the most aesthetically pleasing artwork to patterns in the stock market. To stay on top of stock patterns you can take advantage of, sign up for the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter at TFNN.com. When you subscribe, you'll get a weekly report from veteran day trader Larry Pesavento on stocks you need to pay attention to. And you can trust Larry's analysis. After all, he's got 45 years experience as a day trader. Larry will also provide daily charts, videos, and data on the key markets that he's tracking. Expect notifications from Larry on market movement you need to act on at any time. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. Subscribe to the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter today. TFNN.com, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den, hosted at Discord. TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. So we're taking a look at N-phase energy out here. NPH is the ticker symbol. This formed a nice TD9 count top. It did this on the trading day of November the 1st. And now price is trading below the bottom of its daily profile. And so S&P, as long as price remains below the 281.26 mark out there, what it really does is it opens the door to move to its breakout level. And that's at 234, even Steven. That's the daily time frame. Weekly time frame supports that as long as price remains below its green oscillator and change line. That's printed out at 288.24. And you've got 267. So before you can get to 234, on the monthly time frame chart, price is testing support. And that's its green oscillator and change line as well. Currently printed at 267.01. So that's what N-phase is doing. S&P, I hope that helps you out. Thanks so much for the request. Let's finish the show here. I know everything has sounded like uberly bullish out there, and those are the conditions as we speak right now. But the question is, what happens in the next couple of days out here? You got the Dow at 506, S&P is up 47. Well, if we take a look at our seasonal pattern out here, this is a seasonal pattern for midterm elections. That red vertical line is where we're at today. And this is the S&P 500. This is over a period of 72 years. And what you'll see here is that on November 10th, typically, and that would be when? 2 days from now, is when the S&P would typically turn and make a move lower into the third week of November, at least November 19th. That's what the charts for the seasonal pattern for the S&P look like. If we go take a look at the Dow out here, let's pull that up as soon as I can find it. Where is it? It's right in front of me. There we go. So let's pull this up here. Let's go ahead and maximize this. Let's go back 125 years. Let's set this to midterm elections. And what we can see here is the exact same pattern. However, in the case of the Dow out here, it says it tops tomorrow or the next day. And this moves lower into December, the middle of December. So this is the pattern over 125 years. Again, it's only looking at every 4 years during those midterms out there. But this is its pattern. So actually what the market is doing today, the Dow and in the S&P 500, is tracking along the seasonal pattern of the midterm elections out there. And that says that even though everything looks so uberly bullish here, be careful. So it should be interesting trading. Tonight, why don't you hop inside the Tiger's Den out there today, tomorrow. Should be a great time to be there. Stay tuned, folks. We've got some great programming up. I'll see you tomorrow on Wonderful Wednesday. Go out there and vote, please. Have a terrific Tuesday.